Junkies!
We're going to talk about What If. What If the first episode came out today. So let's talk about the episode. We kind of all knew that it was going to center around Captain Carter, the Peggy Carter, Captain America. So what was everybody's take on this first episode? Enjoy it? Not enjoy it? Need more? Should they have released more episodes? Give me your take.
I enjoyed it. Personally, unless this is supposed to be like this one is supposed to start the reasoning behind the what if. Like they said in the beginning, if what if this happened, are like all the next episodes going to be in that same universe, or are they going to be jumping around the multiverse? Because if it is going to be jumping around the multiverse and not one universe, personally, I would rather not seen Captain Carter first. Only reason is because it didn't, to me, really feel like it strayed too much from Captain America. Like it was damn near like everything was the same up until the end, and it was just like the end, like you knew that she was gonna disappear, and you knew. It's like I just knew it. Like I don't know.
I think they did that because you got to remember, what if the comic book has been around for forever?
Yeah.
And what if, and with that has always truly been just that. What if? So it's almost like you are, like you said, bouncing around the multiverse. I think they're easing the audience into the concept. So they took the story that everybody kind of already was comfortable with and knows and just tweaked it a little. It's like, okay, well, this is what this show is going to be about. It's going to be little minor tweaks to the continuity that I know. Because if you, like, for example, if you jump in with Black Panther being in Guardians of the Galaxy in the first episode, you're going to throw some people.
Yeah.
Because it's too weird. They have to work up to that, I think. And I think edging Captain America as Peggy Carter instead of being Steve, and then Steve essentially kind of becoming the first Iron Man, I think that kind of is something that people can still wrap their heads around fairly, the casual audience, the normies, they can wrap their head around that fairly easy.
I guess.
And you just move to your next thing. Because nobody knows what the second episode is. They didn't have any hint at what the next one is going to be.
Which I kind of like.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I just wish that one came down the line because I don't know, you just throwing stuff into a blender and just letting stuff shake out. It just seems like I would have seen just one, like you said, like you said, for the normies, maybe that's how it is. I'd have just seen one like out the way because I want to know how in the heck is T'Challa part of Guardians of the Galaxy, because what makes no sense to me is that you had these aliens come down. First off, they came down, picked up this child in Guardians of the Galaxy, and there's nobody to stop them, of course.
Oh.
I forget the reason why they did it.
Are you talking about in the original movie?
Yeah.
The actual movie? Like, yeah, they picked him up in the middle of the field because he ran out the
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's like, he runs out of the hospital. Y'all just ain't going to chase him?
Yeah, nobody.
And nobody saw the lights of that spaceship.
I don't know
anywhere.
We don't know how far and how fast he ran, and that's fine. I mean, again, the movie has
you said how far and how fast he ran.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did.
They were trying to get him back to his dad or something.
Oh no, we understand that part. No, we get that. What we're asking is, like, okay, for example, if you, like, what was he, 9 probably? It's like if you 9 and you're in the hospital and you run out into a field in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, ain't nobody in that whole family gonna run after him. It's like at least one person would have been like, Peter.
But my biggest thing is
they still can't hear it falling, unfortunately.
What I would like to know is, okay, so T'Challa grew up in the most powerful nation in the world, though it's secret to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And they have defenses like no tomorrow. How the heck these aliens get into Wakanda?
We gotta find out.
That's what I want to know.
We gotta find out. Yeah. Maybe he, was out, went to one of them UN meetings with his dad, and was out playing in the lobby or something.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think Wakanda is technologically advanced enough that if somebody would kidnap him, they would have went out into space and try to find him.
Again, we have to wait and see.
And,
and I think, like I said, that's what makes this such a fun series, because it's like, they're like, dude, I love how they did it. Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher.
One more. One more.
I'm going to go and try and fix his audio real fast.
Okay,
so single camera on Dido, please.
It'll be the Dido and GQ show for right now, then.
So, you guys, I don't know about you, but I like Sonic the Hedgehog, and guess who's going to be playing Knuckles' voice? Idris Elba. They got Idris Elba to do Knuckles, and I'm just like,
for the movie?
Yeah, for the movie that's coming out next year.
That's gonna be sweet.
And I'm thinking to myself, wow.
No, that's a cool announcement, though. I'll definitely give you that. That is unexpected.
It's very unexpected.
So that means Knuckles is about to have a prominent role in that movie.
Yeah, which
You
seems a little bit too
Idris
fast at the same
to have him
time.
do 4 lines.
Yeah. But they didn't even get Sonic first. I mean, it's Sonic. Tails. You're going to have Tails and Knuckles show up at the same time?
I didn't really care. Regardless of Tails having some of my name in his name,
I know you can't stand the character.
Really
and I can understand why, because, almost any iteration of him is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And even in Sonic 2, you can feel annoyed by him consistently running around and dying and doing stuff. Specifically
Tails
through
was an
special
extra
stages.
hit. That's all Tails was for me.
Was it what?
An extra hit in Sonic 2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, remember how like in Donkey Kong Country it's like, oh man, I lost Diddy. Oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Tails. It was like, oh, I lost.
I knew you'd come right back, but that's freaking half pipe is where I hate him. If you're playing single player in the half pipe, he was making you lose rings.
No doubt. Yep.
Yeah, I know he showed up in the last minute of the
he was
movie. It's
after
just
credits.
it doesn't. It's.
I got you. All right, so back to the what if deal. It is going to be interesting to see where they go with this, though, because Jeffrey Wright doing the voice of the Watcher works, man. That dude's got a really good voice, and I don't know. We'll see. I hope that he doesn't. Well, I'm pretty sure he has to because it's the narration type deal. But it seems like he's going to probably be like, like every single time, be like, oh, here's that moment, like when if things went this way, went left instead of right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's fine.
Well, I want to briefly talk about and Fallen. You can jump in on this one too. Now that I got your
Are we sure?
your audio. Yeah,
Fallen,
sure.
say something. Let's make sure we got you. Want to hear that the smooth baritone.
Those dulcet tones. Yes, please come on. Say something.
So, well, I am speaking. I'm pretty sure everybody in the studio can hear me. Can everybody else out there?
We can.
All right.
So,
Make sure.
well, they'll confirm in a
They
second.
can hear you.
We'll
You
confirm
guys
in a
confirm
second.
in the chat.
Yeah,
and
we'll
also
confirm in the
Waterman
chat.
says the voice acting seems off a little.
It does. What I found was interesting is that everybody reprised their roles with the exception of 2. Ross Marquand. Well, technically, Ross Marquand
They can hear him
was
sleep.
Red Skull in Endgame. So there's that.
You ain't getting Hugo back.
But
Hugo breached his contract. You said
yeah,
what?
Tommy Lee Jones.
point to make sure.
I mean, but Colonel Phillips didn't even have a speaking part. That wasn't Colonel Phillips.
Yeah, it was a whole different
When
dude.
they got killed.
Right, but he had no speaking parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had no speaking parts. But
Well, that probably went to Frank
Easy
Welker.
work.
exactly, easy work. So the other thing, and they said they can hear you, Fallen. So rejoice. But I found it interesting that everybody reprised the roles except for Josh Keaton was Steve Rogers, and Ross Marquand was Red Skull. Everybody else, Stanley Tucci, Haley Atwell, Jeremy Renner, Samuel L. Jackson, they all played
You
their
tell
roles.
me you couldn't get Chris Evans and they got everybody else.
That's the thing.
You
That
got to remember, Chris Evans was almost partially tired of Captain America even before the second Avengers movie came out. Again,
I hate hearing that, dude.
it's
These
easy.
freaking
It's easy.
actors.
It's easy to do voice acting. I completely understand and completely agree. I think, like for example, they're not getting Robert Downey Jr. They're just not,
right.
because he's too expensive.
No.
Exactly.
And I think he truly is done with the role. What's up, King
fine.
Takeem checking in?
What's up? What's up?
I don't know. I mean, it's and this obviously is going to be the final performance by Chadwick Boseman.
Yep.
But it's I think I don't know. Haley Atwell being the main character in this one kind of just like he didn't have. Then again, Steve did have a very strong supporting role, so
He did.
I don't know.
did.
He did. Now, the thing I want to talk about, and you and Fallen, me and Fallen can kind of go back and forth on this one. So, I really want to touch on the animation aspect of it. To me, animated, or at least stylistically wise, it reminded me of those Fleischer Superman cartoons. But they used what a lot of people have kind of been really negative about, which was how in recent trends there's been a lot of 3D anime that's been out there, and like Berserk was 3D. XArms was 3D. There's been a lot of other anime that have been done completely in 3D, and it looks like Marvel Studios decided to go with that. What did you think of the animation style in this series?
I think it lends itself to the kind of atmosphere that What If is going for, because it's kind of like, because it's all different variations of everything that we already know up to this point. So remixes, if you will. So like them choosing this art style, I'm honestly not. I don't have a problem with it. I honestly really don't have a problem with it. I think it lends itself to the tone of the overall the series overall. So I think some aspects of it like take some getting used to, but
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that I guess like some aspects of it they do give it a more uh, uh 2D feel in some aspects of it. So like the way it kind of like switches up like that, I do think is kind of interesting. It low key seems like they took a few cues from Into the Spider Verse, to be honest, like in some aspects of it,
Okay.
which I thought was interesting. So, but overall, like I'm digging it. Like I'm digging the animation.
Okay. Even out of the chat, some people are like commenting on the animation. Wolverine says the animation was okay, but DC animation is A1. While his Legend says DC animation, as a DC fan, and he's a hardcore one, he thinks is overrated, which is a little bit surprising to hear him say that. But what do you think, GQ? Is DC animation a little on the overrated side?
I don't think it's necessarily overrated. I think what it is it's DC animation for at least a decade, because they had 10 years strong where they were just knocking them out the park one after the other. And then in later releases, it hasn't so much been that. It's been hit or miss. I think the animation on this, looking at it, it's almost like they're going for an over-the-top cinematic feel to the animation.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost going for splash pages every single time something happens.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
with that level of, I don't know, I guess aiming for that type of animation it gives it kind of a, not a fluid feel. Like, for example, if you took a look at like something like Fatal Fury, the motion picture, that had outstanding animation all throughout. Everything looked, top notch, more or less. Take it one step back to Fatal Fury 2, and there were moments in there where it's just like the animation was amazing, but then we get to that Terry and Krauser fight, it's like you got putties fighting each other. It's just like, I'm like, did y'all just stop drawing? Like,
They
what?
ran out of money.
Right. So it's like, what the hell? So I think with this one, again, with them being, and if they're all 30 minutes long, because this one was about 30-something minutes long, I think they're going for little miniature movies on their animation style. I don't think they're trying to have any type of up or down. I think it's like, look, we're keeping it all cinematic looking. We're keeping it all, big comic book splash page style. And I think that's what we're going to get out of this one. I don't think they're going for that long form movie look, in the sense of like how Fatal Fury the motion picture was done. I think they're just like, look, we want cinematic splash pages, basically.
Real last thing before we move on. So the last thing I want to talk about is something that Wolverine, or no, Iguana Man was saying, that how the voices sounded sonically kind of weird. I think part of that was, did anybody else feel like the voice actors were rushing through their lines? Like the pacing was like really accelerated? Because I know when Dominic Cooper was talking as Howard Stark, it seemed like he was speaking like at 1.5 speed. You know what I mean?
I think on some level it kind of is, because the fact that they are essentially kind of expanding a story and they have to fit like every beat of that story within a half hour, that probably is the reason why. Because obviously with First Avenger, we had 2 hours of that story, so that whole story is not only condensed but also remixed at the same time. So it's like certain things they have to change, certain things they have to keep it to have that familiarity, but at the same time it's like it's kind of getting fast tracked, because again, it's really just a slight remix of a story that we already know. Instead of Steve Rogers taking the serum, it's Peggy Carter. Certain aspects of it a little bit different, but at the same time it's still similar. So I'm thinking as we get more episodes, like the more really different takes, we'll probably have better pacing with those as opposed to this first one, because it's already a really familiar story. It's just people who traded places. That's really the only difference with this first episode, which is no problem of mine. Like I thought it was fine, and plus, like who doesn't love Agent Carter? But
Indeed.
Yeah, I think because like this story was already familiar, like we know this story, like it really wasn't like really necessary to pace it out. It just like just get the beats, hit them, and move on. Like I really feel like that was the whole point.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed that clip. Make sure you check out our live content on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/culturejunkies. We also have a lot of content available on YouTube, unboxings as well as Blu-ray reviews. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/culturejunkies. And on top of all of that, if you go to culturejunkies.net, you can check out our merch store. The link is culturejunkies.net/merch. There's a lot of great merchandise there. So there's links and logos and stuff all around me. So check those out, and we will see you next time.